Welcome back, guys. Am I audible properly? Those who are joining online, ping me fast, guys.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, fine. I hope everyone enjoyed their vacations and now you are coming with a refreshing energy. Okay, why so less strength? Huh? Yes, where are your friends, guys? In the last session, we have discussed about data binding, and particularly, we have completed two-way data binding also, right? And from today onwards, we are going to start directives. Friends are recharging energy. I think we are having class after around 5 days, right? 6 days. So I think 6 days are enough to get the energy back. Directives. Okay. So till now we have discussed like almost about everything. And like if I open the TS file, in this file, this is the selector, this is the import, this is the template URL, and this is the styling the component, and we have discussed all of these things, right? So how many types of selector we have? Four. Please answer all those four types of selector. In how many ways we can write our selector? Four. Four. Three. Yes. In how many ways we can write our selector? You forgot it. We have discussed almost about everything, but what is this at the rate of component? Until now, we know only one thing, that this is a decorator, right? We know only one thing, that this is a decorator. So technically, this is a directive, right? This is a directive. So let's first understand what is a directive. A directive in Angular. See, whenever you are dealing with Angular, React, or something which has its alternative, right? Now, if you are saying that a directive is, let's say, if I'm not writing a directive in Angular, I'm directly writing a directive is. I'm giving a global definition of directive, and it can vary from one particular framework to other particular framework. It is not a hard and fast rule that these will be the same every time, right? Because same thing in React is called mapping, not directive, right? So whenever you are defining something which is related to Angular, just mention it. So a directive in Angular can be defined as an instruction or classes to manipulate the DOM. to manipulate the DOM. And I hope you have a good knowledge of DOM. What is DOM? It is document object model. Means technically how your browser will render the HTML. That is called DOM. Now let's say I think this is one of our application rock paper scissors, right? So let me run this application only and then I'll show you. Okay, so this was the task, right? To build in the holidays that you have to build rock paper scissors game using Angular. I hope everyone is done with this part. Completed, deployed, working fine. Yes. Hello. Deployed. No. Why? 6 days are enough, I think, right? So this was the project that we have done that day. Now if I ask you that how this particular view is coming, that background color, that card color, and like how these things are coming, so you will say simple thing that this particular app.component HTML is taking all these things, this HTML file basically, right? Why this file is getting rendered? Because in the typescript it is mentioned that it has to render this template, right? It has to render this HTML file which will be using this style file. Okay, that we understood. Who is doing this thing? At the rate of component. If I remove this at the rate of component, nothing will work, right? Now Angular will not work. Means directly you cannot give the path of this file. You have to give it to a directive which is called a decorator here. And which directive? This is at the rate of component directive, right? So this component is a working as a instruction or a class which is manipulating the DOM. Manipulating the DOM means it will decide how a website will look while it is going to be rendered on the browser. So that is what your directives will do, but there are other directives also. This is the one of the useful directives. Okay, so I hope you understand this part. A directive in Angular can be defined as an instruction or classes used to manipulate the DOM. In manipulation, adding or removing the child, displaying the template, these things can come, right? So now we are going to discuss about types of directive. Directives. So these directives can be classified into three different parts. These directives can be defined into three different parts. One is that we are using from day one in Angular, that is called component directive, right? That is called component directive. Another one is structural directive. Structural directive. And another one is attribute directive. Now these are the three types of directives. Okay, these are the three types of directives. What is the use of these, how we will use them, we'll see in the upcoming time. Okay, so now let's discuss about this particular component directive that we are using from the first time. It is component directive. These are the most commonly used directive which has a template. What does it have? It has a template, because whenever you are writing at the rate of component, you will define its template. So this is the only directive. Component directive is the only directive that has a template, means a html file to render. This structural directive will not have these things. This attribute directive will not have those things. Only component directive has that part, that it will be rendering the html. Now, if I ask a question that who is responsible to display HTML in Angular, so you have to say that it is component directive. A question can be asked in a reverse way also, that which directive has template. So only the component directive has the template. Now they define reusable components that have their own template, style, and logic. Now, what is the primary work of component directive? It's very simple, that it will tell that it will define a reusable component. Now, if I am writing this app hyphen root anywhere, it will render one HTML file, right? This is the work of component. Now, let's say in the HTML file, this is what we are doing here. Okay, so we are directly writing it, like we are not creating any other component. If we are write in the HTML file, we are writing app root, right? And who is telling this app root tag? This particular component directive. That if you are using app hyphen root anywhere, this template file will be getting rendered with this style and with these logic. This is the work of component directive, right? Now, and that is what we have mentioned, that they define reusable components that have their own template, styles, and logics. How to define them? So this is the simple way that we are using at the rate of component, and in this way you can define these. Okay, in this way you can write the component directive. Now let's define their parts. So here, selector property. Now let's define this component. So at first we will mention that the component directive is placed over the classes as decorators. So where we have to use this component directive over the class. This is our class, export class app component. Over this, you have to use your component directive, right? So component directive is placed over the class as decorators. We know that we have to keep at the rate of for decorators. It will have some basic properties, like at last it will have at least two properties. One is selector, one is selector, and second one is template. These two are basic. You can work without style, like you are not writing any css, you can directly work with html, but selector you need and template you need. So in the selector property, the selector property defines the html tag that you can reuse, and it will render the template or template URL property. Now, whenever you are writing this particular selector anywhere, what it will render, either this template, if you're writing custom CSS, custom HTML, if you're writing, it will render that, or directly it will render the template URL property. Let me tell you, I think you are getting issue in this. I am using this app-root in index.html file because we know that browser will look for this file only. Okay, got it. Here selector is app root. If I'm changing it to shivam-root, now you will see that there is a error. Means blank window, nothing is there. Now in index.html also I need to write shivam-root only, then only it will render the page. Now it is rendering. Okay, that is another case. And what it is rendering here? Whatever you have mentioned in the template URL, because it will render app.component.html file. What if I am not writing this? Okay, I am not writing this. I will simply write template colon. Inside this, what I will do is simply I will keep one, let's say here I will keep one h1 tag in this way, and here I will write simple use of HTML. Here like this I will keep, and keeping this tag inside single quotes in this way. Okay. Now once you go to the application, simple use of HTML. So app root tag will render whatever is written inside this template. Whatever, either, oh, that's what I have mentioned there. It will render the template. Template means you are directly writing the HTML inside this. Here also, by keeping this simple single quote in between, you can write the HTML, but code readability very poor. That's why we use the template URL. So it will be rendering the template or template URL property. So if you are not having this, simply it will render the template URL property. And template URL means it will be having the URL or the path of a HTML file that it has to render. Now you can see that it is coming. Okay. So this is like all about this particular component directive. There are some important points about it, and those are uh, they always have a template associated with them. component directive will always be having a template with them, right? Over at the above also we have discussed these things. Second thing is they will be used they will be used by keeping at the rate of component decorator. How we can use them? By keeping at the rate of component decorator. Okay, I hope you understand this because this is already we have discussed, right? Do you have any questions from this component directives? No questions? Okay, then we shall move forward towards second part, that is our structural directives. And these are the important one, right? These are the important one. They will not be having any template, but they will be having some important properties with them, right? They will be having some properties with them. Structural directives. So here, as the name is saying, structural means they will be related to structure of something, right? They will be related to structure of something. So here we will write structural directive are used to modify the DOM by adding or removing the child. Now let's say why we discussed component directive at first, because at first we need to render the HTML file in a browser. After that we need to change the DOM by adding some child or removing some child. So what will be working at that time? Structural directive will be working at that time, right? Structural directive will be working at that time. But how it will work, right? So how it is going to work actually, for that we'll see. Now this structural directive, let me write here some common example of structural directives. So these are, let me keep them. So they are ng for, second one is ng if, and it is ng switch. Now when I written ng for if switch, you will be going to the loops if else, right? You're going there only. Yeah, it is that only, but here we write it with a asterisk sign. We write them with a asterisk sign. So these are common that we use here. Now how we will be using them, or what is their use actually, right? So let's use them because structural directives are important. So let's go back to Angular. Generally this is a completed project, so we will not be mashing with this project rock paper. We have a test project that we always use for our development and learning purpose. So I'll open that only. Okay, so header, right? This is HTML file, CSS file, and TypeScript file. Okay, we'll see it. First, let's run this application. App name is test, so I will go to the directory and then ng serve hyphen hyphen open. Both you can write hyphen hyphen open hyphen hyphen o, or simple way you can write ng serve also, it will work. Okay, so header component is working. Now we'll do one thing, right? So in this I will create a ordered list at first, right? And after that I'll create a list item, and here let's render a list of fruits. So let's say apple, banana, papaya. Simple thing I have written, and you will see that apple, banana and papaya is coming. If you want to give it some css, so for list item I will give their font size will be 22 pixel, right? Now now how we will be using those part. At first I have written ng for, right? I have written ng for means loop here. A loop means doing something repeatedly until a condition is arriving. How we will be using this part? Now can we say that this is a array of fruits? Can we say that this is an array or list of fruits? If it is a list of fruits or something like that, we should be having this in class, right? We should be having this in class. So let's say here I will write fruits equals to, and I will write here apple. Here I will write apple, banana, papaya. Right? I can write in the typescript also. If I want to render that in HTML now, instead of write, see, whatever data you are writing in HTML is hard to change. You have to call that data into typescript only. That is why it means javascript or typescript. So instead of writing the data in HTML, if I'm trying to render the, what type of rendering it is, string interpolation, right? If you are writing fruits here, if you are writing fruits here, and it is coming in this way, apple, banana and papaya, and it is expected to come in this way only. But there is a problem. Everything is getting rendered directly. Like it should come one apple, two banana, three papaya, right? If you are using string interpolation, like forget this for a moment. If we are using string interpolation, so this will be getting rendered as it is, not as a list item. But what I want is, I want this data to come in this way, that one first item is apple, second is banana, third is papaya. Let's say if I have to add one more fruit into this list, let's say date, it will be getting added directly. But what I want is, it should be getting added as a next element, right? And that is what we have written here, by adding or removing the child. So now you should be using ng for directive for this. But how we will be using this ng for? Oh, it is very simple. How it is simple? Let's say in this list item, right, what we are doing is, we are rendering this list instead of directly rendering the fruit list. Visible, right? Okay, so instead of directly rendering the list, I will write one particular directive, and here I will write ng for. I will write ng for. Now how it will work? If I am writing that ng for, how it is supposed to work? Now directly let me write the fruits first. Means I am directly rendering the fruits. I'm not writing anything here. See, now list is not getting rendered. Is list getting rendered here? Why list is not getting rendered? Because you have provided a directive and it is not supposed to work in this way, right? It is not supposed to work in this way. If I'm removing this ng for understand it properly, you will see that it is coming and it is working fine also. But what if I'm writing that directive? Now data is not coming. It means that there is a different way of using this particular directive. So instead of writing it here, now this is a for loop, right? Ng for ng stands for angular and for is a loop that we know previously. So here I will write ng for equals to, and here I will write let I of fruits. And fruits is the exact name of your class. Whatever class you have written here, or array, list, whatever you have, exact name. And here what I have mentioned, that and let I equals to fruits. Here if you are writing this, now render it as a string interpolation. So write I here and let's refresh. Okay, we are missing out something. Ng for list item. Let's keep here let fruit of fruits. Mhm. Okay, let's check the error. Can't bind to its known property of an. Okay, we have to keep off. Mhm. Okay, let's try to change it in a different way. Okay, let's try another way here. So directly fruit is working if you are writing the condition. Okay, do one thing, let's rerun the application. It might be a server issue also. The correct syntax is this only, but don't know what is the issue now. No, that is different actually. If you are using ng for off right there. You are right, yes, talking about this, right? That is different. ng for is there only. It will not work. ng for off is different. ng for is different. Mhm. Sure. Same we are using, right? Or do one thing, maybe there might be an internal change. So at first create a div. Maybe we have messed with this project only. Wait a minute. Creating a new project there will do it. Maybe this is a. Just wait a minute. Okay, so we'll try the same thing with this temp project now. Okay, so it's working. Same issue. What's the problem? Wait, we'll check it and fix. What happened? Generally, this is the only command for ng4 and it works. Even I am surprised why it is not working. Let's create a syntax error here. Now can't went to ng4 of again. This is totally unexpected here. Like, Gaurav, in fruits will not work if you are writing in this way. It will not work. It should throw the particular error also. Hey, what happened to three of you? Any suggestions? And be silent. Wait, we'll try another method at first. Give me a minute, guys. Wait, we'll try another method. Okay, this time we are getting the elements, but they are removing it. Is so one is we have to import ng4, and this is from Done. See, sometime you might be facing these kind of issues. So what was the previous one? In this way. Now same code is working. At that time it was not working. Syntax is same only. Now you just need to import it in the, because this is a standalone component, so you need to import ng4. We are missing this part. Item. Now it is rendering our items here in an unordered list. But my question is, what is the use of this? Right? My question is, what is the use of this? Okay, this is, we know that we can write this particular part in TypeScript and we can render that data here in this particular way, right? We can do this part. But now in CSS, let me write it for list item, font size 22 pixel. For writing only these things we are using for, no, it's not like that. So we will create a project now using this. Let's say you are going to Flipkart and you are searching for mobiles here. Whenever you are seeing the repetition of things in a same way, you will be using this particular part. How? So we are going to build this particular section, right? We are going to build this particular section. But how we will build this particular section? Not only in the list item, you can actually render it anywhere. Let's say instead of writing a list item here, I will render it inside a div, right? I will render it inside a div and you will see same thing is coming, right? As it is a div, so it is not coming with one or two and it will come. Now, this is the case here. So we are going to design this mobile component and we will be using the directive here. See, everywhere when you go to Flipkart, same theme they are following. First, there is a image, mobile name, mobile details, and then a price. This is what they are showing, right? This is what they are showing. Same everywhere, same content they are following. That is how you will be using this particular part. So at first we will design this static component, right? We will design this static component. So this is the image. Let's copy this link and I'll go to HTML. At first I will create a div. Inside this div, I'm not using any TypeScript. We are just going to use, or we are going to develop this particular part. So there is a image section, content section, and price section. So you can directly keep them or you can create three different containers for that, right? In the first container, I'll keep the image of mobile. So here I will write image src equals to that image link that I have copied. And so image is coming. You can reduce the width if you want, or let's keep it same. In the second section, what we have is at top, we have one mobile name. So it is already open. I'll copy this part and I will give h1 in this way. And it is how it will come. We'll change it, of course. So h3 I'll keep here. And in this particular part only, what we have is the details about mobile, right? So these kind of details it is having. So I'll copy them and paste here. You can merge them into a list item, right? You can. So this is how it is coming. And for of now, I will remove these two parts. And in the third particular container, we have the price, right? We have the price. So price, I will generally display in H3, and this is the price. So let's copy paste it. Now at first, our basic requirement is to design this component as it is looking in Flipkart. So for the parent, who is the parent, I will give it a class as container or main, anything you can give. And in its CSS, I will call that container. And first thing is displaying flex to it. While you are displaying flex, things will be coming in this way. Very easily they will come. After that, you can just write aligning the items in center, and then justify the content in space around. So in this way they will come. If you remove this particular part aligning the items in center, this is how they will look. But in this way, we are rendering the actual thing, right? Means we are providing the hard binding of data by writing the data in HTML, which will be hard to change. So what we will do is, if we are writing this thing inside this particular part, inside this particular typescript, can we write it? So this is how we will use it. How many content we are giving it from outside? How much content we are giving here from outside? Image, we are giving image. If I'm taking this image outside, means I will take the image link outside and I will give it to the typescript. So here I will declare a image kind of array, and this is the first link. After that, second, third. In this way I will give the links. Now it is not easy actually, right? It is not easy. For that, I let me create a list item here, and to the list item I will give list style none, right? I don't want any list style. Means dot I don't want here. In HTML, here I will write my ng for. So by asterisk I will write it ng for equals to for img in, or let's say for I in I of img. After this, you will write image src equals to, in src you can keep the string interpolation and you can keep the I here. In this way, if you are trying to write the image in this way, okay, I does not exist. Let. So now you will see that image is not coming here. Content is coming, but image is not coming. So that I already told you that it will not work in the same way. We know that price is something which is very easy to take. So do one thing. in TypeScript, I will define one another array of prices. In this prices array, I will write the price of mobiles. So first price is that is already written there. So I'll copy this. Okay, done. Now wherever we are writing the price directly, what I will do is let's write it in this ng4. So I'll try to keep ng4 equals to let price of prices, and here you will write price. Now price is coming. Now picture is also coming. But what does changed here? Right? What does changed here? I'm asking what is the thing that changed here. So the thing that changed here is the behavior of Angular. Right? It behaved differently. Now image is also coming, content is coming, price is coming, right? And price is coming from the TypeScript. If I'm changing the price in TypeScript, let's say I will keep it 15,999, price changed directly, right? If I remove something from the image link, let's say I will remove this 2, and you will see that image is not loading now because source is not correct. So this is how our content is coming. But let's say you have a second mobile phone and whose price is 6,249, right? So you'll keep a comma in. Now the price of next mobile is 6,500, let's say 499, something like this. You have a price. How it will be coming? It will be coming in this way. Means within the second heading only it will render, but what I want, this price should be coming in the next section. So for that I'll open this mobile and I'll copy its image link. So this is the image link of this mobile. Let's copy and give it to the image array. So this is the first part, and here I'll give the second link. How now our Angular will be rendering the image? It is rendering. The name of second phone also I'll give, right? So name also we will create a names array, right? We will create a name array, names from HTML. This is the name of phone. I'll cut and paste it, right? This is the first one. And for of now, for a better understanding, I will remove all the feature of phone. In this heading, again I will write that particular part ng4 equals to let name in names, and here we will render the name in string interpolation. So this is, are we missing something of? Okay. So now picture is coming, name is coming, and price is coming in this way. And that is for the first particular application, that is fine. For this particular first, this is fine. But whenever you are trying to write the second name, so let's say I will write the second name now. This is the first name and this is second name. I want this heading to come in front of this mobile, but as it is a loop going on with the h3, it will take it in the same way, right? It will take it in the, so tomorrow we'll complete this part, and this is how these things are actually built, right? So tomorrow we'll complete this particular mobile phone section of Flipkart. On I'm doing it with mobile phone. You can do it with any other app product. Let's say you want to search here chair or any particular product. They will be following the same theme every time. picture name price. So they will generate only one component and they will write it multiple times, right? So tomorrow we'll complete it and tomorrow we'll solve this problem also. And yes, I'll suggest you one thing actually. If you are searching some solution related to Angular on Google or Chat GPT, so when we were running into this error, people were dropping the solution in the chat box that common modules. So many times I got that. I was reading that actually. Whatever suggestions you are getting from Chat GPT or Google, those are based on Angular 10 or Angular 14. And now we are working on Angular 19, right? There it used to be a app module file, which is now not there. We are working on standalone components whose working is little bit different. So if you are using Chat GPT or mostly those solution will not work here. Mostly. It was my bad that this ng4 I haven't imported here. So mostly solutions that you are getting from Chat GPT or Google will not work in these Angular or React because they keep on updating these things. I am having doubts in models. Models? What models? So tomorrow we'll do this part, right? And we will discuss everything in depth.